and see how it comes out. These are pictures of Mom has taken, Sue McLane and me. There's Doris and Dale. It's Dale on the slide there. We don't have many slides, but that was in the spring of the year, and it was up Steamboat Springs, the city park at Steamboat Springs. And he really did enjoy going up and down this slide. Mostly, I think, because we had the camera on him. There's Dennis in the swing, and there's Dale that she's pushing now. That's Doris and little Dennis. Now we have a little river running here under a bridge. It's in the city park. It's in the spring. And Dale, Dennis, McLane, and Doris are getting up, going to walk across this little bridge. I don't think they went clear across. I think they just went out there. If you notice it, they're real careful. They don't want to fall in that water because that stuff is icy cold. It is cold. There's Denny Bill. Look at his little smile, and you see him pass this Pepsi bottle, and his eyes just lock up on it. This was an old stage station up here between Hayden and Mount Harris. Okay, let me see what we got here. We're going hunting there. There's Uncle Cecil, and I'm not sure, but I think that's Jimmy Paul. Cecil's boys and my dad. We was going to Kansas here. There's some buffalo. I hadn't seen any buffalo as I'd been working all the time and just hadn't been around. And we stopped and took pictures of these buffalo someplace, between somewhere east of Oakley, someplace out there on that highway down maybe by there's W.G. Green, Walter Green, and there's Ethel Green. This is Doris's mom. Be David's grandpa right there. See grandpa right there. And this place is, I don't know what they call it now, but it was in a mill village in Villarica, Georgia. The houses all belonged to a thread mill where they made thread. There's Denny Bill, Ethel, Denny Bill McLane. He's at this time he was just good enough he could walk. And Walt, and that was back in the days when you could burn the weeds and the leaves in your yard. It was all okay. They cleaning up the yard, burning the weeds. Little there's Doris with her back to us, and Denny Bill, little Dennis. I don't know what we call him Denny Bill. He, in his adult now, he wants to be called Dennis, but we always call him Denny Bill. And I don't know whose car that was. That dog is called Bobo. We named that dog Bobo. We had it for a long time. In fact, we still had that dog when we came to Phoenix, moved to Phoenix in '60, whenever that was. There I am. They're a little Chihuahua dog, and they got down there wrestle with Dennis. That's not our dog. The little dog is our dog. There's Ethel. They come out of the house there. That's me, Chuck McLane. I kind of misbehaved there, starting over there. I think Doris is running the camera, and I kind of bashful. I sure wish I'd have slowed down a little bit. If I'd have slowed down, I would have looked. I don't have any pictures of me hardly in those years. They had some rabbits down there. There's Denny Bill playing with the rabbits. They have, I don't know whose rabbits they were. They were just there. It was somebody's rabbits. And that was my car. I had that repossessed. It was repossessed that winter. That was a '57 Ford. There's Lottie and Jimmy Paul's car. And there's Jimmy Paul and Dale, I think. And now let's see. Deanna? I can't recognize Ruby's girls too much. There's Jimmy Paul. I know him. And then I think that's Deanna. And this International, after they repossessed my car, I bought that International. And that's what I was driving around that winter up there. They had to put a rod in it. The bearing, one of the bearings was out. There's an old International pickup, a red one. This is Backus's Lumber next door to the McLane place there north of town of Craig. And there's the, I'm not real sure about this. This is some pictures that was taken. I think that Mom, Sue McLane, took these, and I don't know what they are. There, I bought that trailer. I pulled that trailer in there with that international pickup. There's Doris, and one of the little ones, our dog Bobo. It was sitting there behind Dad's place on North of Craig, the McLane place. His house would have been about to her back there, about 75 feet. There's this was the day here, and now that's Dale. That's Dale with the cocking little BB gun, and that's Dennis. This, I think, was the day that Dennis counted to 10. He counted 10 little blades of grass out in our hands. We didn't have the photograph. We was trying to teach Dale to count. Dennis heard these things and began. There's Doris standing in the doorway. Now here's Dale, and he had that right there. That ribbon running across there was our antenna wire. Now this boy, and I can't remember his name, but he was Bill Roush's son. He lived 2 doors to the north. That little fence, I had a kind of a planing mill for a while, and I built that fence out of the boards from the planing mill. There's Dennis. He was tired of that. He folded his arms and left. There was somebody got the camera out while I was trying to take a nap. I was working nights, sleeping in the daytime, and it was hot in the summer. And this car here belonged to G.W. Green. This thing was Oldsmobile, had a standard transmission, and it would really run. Green and Sybil and Donnie and Ronnie and Johnny and Bonnie and whoever all of those names are lived in that house. It had been a converted garage. And this was taken in Craig, Colorado. There's Donnie Glenn. I can't tell the boys, the girls. Right now, just this instant, I don't remember all of the names. I remember the names, but to identify them, that's Donnie. But that Oldsmobile, sure would like to have it back now. It's the only one I ever knew that had a standard transmission in it. It was absolutely a magnificent automobile. I don't know whatever happened to it. But this time, Donnie Glenn could identify every car there was as far as he could see them. Now, this is at a fair day. We're down there at a fair, and WG just got out of the jailhouse. See him walking and holding the little ones and Sybil right there. They let him out to watch the, and I don't even know what he was in there for, but they let him out to watch the parade. This is what we have going on here, is the parade. I'm going to have to sure spent a lot of time taking pictures of parades. I wish I hadn't have done that if I'd have taken more people pictures. But I just didn't know. I didn't realize how important the people pictures would have been. I mean, with, parade backgrounds, but I should have had a roll of Green and Sybil and the kids. I should have had them because they were right there. We was all standing there looking. Instead of that, I turned around and was taking pictures of the parade people I don't know. And the floats in Craig, they call it Ride and Tie Days. Every year they have these. Decorate those store windows and in the parade. Some of these floats I recognize, some I don't remember. Sometimes I didn't know what they were at the time. I remember the Davy Crockett Club. In order to be in a Davy Crockett, you had to have already killed a bear. And a big old banjo sign from a Texaco station across the road was actually a Chevrolet dealership. They sold Texaco. I think the thing belonged to Buck Corral, as I remember his name. Back then, a Chevrolet dealership was just almost like a license to print money. These people I don't know. See me and Doris and Ruby, these pictures, we should have been movie stars, good looking as we were. Little tractor. Wasn't even far enough I could read that. Yeah, the Lions Club. Boots and Saddle. I'm not sure about them. I knew they were around, but I didn't know what they did at all. Didn't know. Had no idea. Just something that they put in a parade. Maybe somebody else might know something about them, but I sure didn't. The little horses, lots of little horses. We got some cars. Have no idea who's in them. Haha, there's the bear. Looks like they're recruiting for the missile people. There's my 54 Mercury. Oh, I would like to have that persimmon-colored Mercury with a black interior. That thing was beautiful. My children asked me one time, said, Dad, how would you like to have all these old cars back? I said, I don't want them all back. If they just give me one, let me pick the one. Just the one. We were on our way to Yellowstone. That was loading and leaving when we were on our way to Yellowstone with that car. Now, right here, we're taking some pictures of something that was so beautiful, but it was so dark, and I didn't know it wouldn't turn out. What it was along a wind river, and it was kind of been raining, and there was clouds and misty, and it was just a beautiful, but I didn't have a light meter. I wouldn't have known anything about that, but it didn't turn out good at all. But the clouds and in the mountains in the background, you could see the mountains through the clouds. In Yellowstone, this, as you're getting to it, I think this was actually before we actually came into the Yellowstone, but those are the Teton Mountains behind us. The Tetons are not the ones we're looking over. The Teton Mountains would be in the back. But it sure was pretty for somebody who'd been around in Craig all winter where there's just snow and old drab-looking sagebrush, nothing spectacular to look at. That got up there to Yellowstone. See here, Yellowstone Park. We're going to go in now. We didn't take anybody's picture by it. I wish we had of. And falls. The lakes and rivers. Now that's Dale. That's Dale right there. That's Dale. That's, of course, myself. And we're feeding bears. We shouldn't have done that, but we did, and we kind of stayed in the car. But we did feed the bears. Towering falls. There was one place along here where it was pretty. I'd never seen anything like this. And they had a rainbow that was in the mist. I think we'll see that a little bit later. But this was my first trip to Yellowstone, me and Dale. And if you'll see that Doris, Dale and Bobo, our dog, and Doris is pregnant. That's Denny Bill there. First pictures of Denny Bill we had. The bears, a lot of bears. They don't have them there anymore. They run them out, hauled them away, exterminated all of them that wouldn't behave themselves, sent them off to zoos. And the bears no longer live with people up there. This Yellowstone River, you can see it way down there in the bottom. Long ways down is very pretty. The Yellowstone, the walls are yellow. Of course, our old film, when you take it off with 8mm and put it on these things, you lose a lot. You lose a whole bunch of the difference. But there's not any way to do it. I guess that they spend, well, it costs quite a bit of money if they change them like the same way they do the movies to make those. It's a very expensive process to get them frame by frame. Now, but this is Yellowstone. It's all yellow, very pretty, a river in the bottom. And incidentally, that river flows north. Most all of the rivers that I've ever been around flow east, west, south, but this one flows north. At least at this point, it's come out of there to the north. And there's Doris, but we didn't get much of a picture of her. That was a flashback from her walking with the dog and with Dennis. Carrying Dennis with Dale. See the rainbow? I took that just because of the rainbow. And we got some stuff here that we need to look at that I'd never seen anything, and I thought it was phenomenal. What it was is boiling mud down in there. This mud just boils and boils and boils. Hot mud. I thought that was something I'd never seen. You see, sometimes it's steaming, hot, boiling mud, steam. This stuff's just along the road. Now, this is Old Faithful. And I thought I'd be back far enough to be able to see it and get it because I had a wide screen, or I thought I did, and see where the people are all at and see how far away I am when I'm taking this picture. And no way that we could get that all in there. It just is too big a thing. They say it's Old Faithful. What it does, it's somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour and a half. Usually it erupts. It's not a regular on time thing. But it's pretty regular, so everybody gets to see it. There's other geysers around that are, you know, all over the place. They're squirting everywhere. But that one there just happens to be the famous one. There's my car, my 54 Mercury. That's Dale right there, and Dale has the new BB gun. Incidentally, that BB gun is the same one he was cocking in the other picture. This picture here was taken the winter before that happened, so this is a year earlier. He would be a year earlier in this. I sure did like that 54 Mercury. I don't know whatever, but that's Dennis there. That's Dale. You can see this was at Christmas time, and they had the gifts out there in the yard. That car belonged to Gerald Moody. Dennis sure wasn't happy with his new riding horse. He had a nice horse. We got him a nice horse, but he wasn't happy with it. Now, this is Dale, and this girl, they called her Bird Legs, or her dad did. Her last name was Moody. Her mother's name was Presley. She was from Tupelo. And she's married to Gerald Moody. I'll think of her name in a minute. This is a bobcat. We have this bobcat. It's treed. You can tree a bobcat right out in the middle. It doesn't have to be up on a post. There's Dennis walking right there. It's my shadow. There's Dale and Doris. And this was about on an Easter. You see the mud roads were still muddy. You could see the car is just splashing in the mud. And you see our dog, Bobo. We had him for several years. Now Dale is trying to learn to ride a bicycle. Trying. He is. He's doing pretty good with it. It doesn't take him very long, because he don't care which way he goes with it, but it tips over. He finally learned because there's Doris, and we're over there at my sister's place, Ruby and Russell Hinkle. There's their kids. There's Jimmy Paul. See, we should have been movie stars. Russell, you should have been a movie star. Ruby, you should have been a movie star. Look at that. Here's Dennis. This is in the spring of the year. I was working for Butch Gray and Ori Cook. I was working operating. I was pushing them for a pulling unit. We was overhauling wells out at Wilson Creek and Hamilton and places like that. I was trying to plant a garden. We never did get anything out of this garden. We just dug the dirt. I've really never been a gardener, and I don't remember ever having. I planted some gardens, but I don't remember ever having anything to eat out of the garden. This is the same place right here. I think it's, I don't know, Peggy, Deanna, Dennis. There's Dennis right there, and Dale in the background there. They got their new shovels. And they're showing me a shovel. That's Dennis. And by this time, Dennis would fight pretty good. When Dale would get into it with one of the kids, well, Dennis would take up the problem with whatever he could get his hands on. Dennis was fighting by the time that only when the people interfered with Dale. Here we're having a little party. Looks like a watermelon party. It's the same place. You see my 57 Ford set there? This was just a little bit before they repossessed it. It looks like we've got, I don't know what we're playing here with all these little kids. I can tell it's Dale. Well, it's Dennis. And I was under the impression that Beverly was there, but maybe she's not. Well, anyway, maybe that's Donnie and Johnny. This is Toe Creek. Up there where we was pumping up there. I had overhauled and brought several of the oil wells back in that had dried up, and we went in and fracked and acidized and sand pumped and got them cleaned out and got them going. You see there's a little refinery down there where the treater was. That's the Yampa River. In the background up there you see that's Rabbit Ear Pass. Beautiful up in there in the spring of the year. See, they still got plenty of snow. I say the spring, it wasn't really too early. And incidentally, this was out of sequence. It should be sitting behind when Dale was sliding in the slide, because I think it took place the same day. But you see the oil field, we got the tanks down there. And we got a few wells pumping. There's Doris standing there by this pumper. Now, those wells made a lot of water, little oil. Dennis, Doris, they're picking columbine. Columbine is against a lot of pick 'em. They don't last very long. They just wilt. And that's an old water wheel that they use for irrigating. It's back towards Bond from out of Toponis up there.